To a very, very special broadcast here on SABC this morning, and of course celebrating 90 years of the SABC, and that of course will be tomorrow, as I was saying earlier. So the SABC is of course then established and through an Act of Parliament, Act number 22 in 1936, and one of the first things that the inaugural SABC board does is that it says that there will be no party political broadcast, but of course we see that change over in 1950 when you get into Nationalist Party broadcasting, where you do start seeing a move towards being its master's mouthpiece. But of course, before then, there were so many seminal moments for the SABC. We, of course, had the SABC being bought from the Africa Broadcasting Corporation for £150,000. And then we only saw the very first African language radio broadcast in the 1940s. And the first were, of course, in the languages of isiZulu, isiXhosa, Sesotho, and Setswana. And those very first radio transmissions were actually carried on television lines in 1940. And it wasn't until 1942 that the SABC then started to move onto medium wave for those African language broadcasts. So these are just some of the stories that we'll be telling you about the SABC and our illustrious history in terms of where we've been, how we waved through those years, and where we are right now in the digital age. But of course, I'm not alone. It's a celebration. Leanne and Busiwe, the whole gang, Azwi, everybody's here. So let's move over to them.
Yeah, indeed. What a special celebration it is. Sakina, I couldn't hear what you're saying because you're quite a distance away from me, so I'm scared I'm going to repeat what you're saying. But I don't think we can repeat enough what a wonderful, wonderful milestone it is for the SABC to be celebrating 90 years. I mean, looking back at the history of the SABC, beginning as a crackling radio station and very limited radio stations that many families and people would gather around to listen to stories, to catch up on events, and then suddenly we realized the power of broadcasting, and then of course it grew more and more and more until Parliament decided that the SABC must be formed on the 1st of August in 1936, and then of course it was all systems go. And then of course it was building here at the Auckland Park studios. There of course you started with radio services, and then of course it was the big television that began, and that was only in the 1970s. So remember, the SABC was radio for the first 40 years of our existence, and wow, was it an incredible existence, because this is the way that people used to find out, firstly, what was happening, and most importantly, how they were entertained, how the families came together and had conversations about the respective things that were being broadcast to them. And that, of course, is important dates that we're showing you here on the program. And today we're going to talk about all of this. We're going to go down memory lane, and we certainly are going to highlight some of the most important events that took place. And, you know, we obviously, coming from an SABC News perspective, realize the important and the wealth of knowledge and institutional knowledge that the SABC has, but we can never ever forget the side of all of the broadcasting that has happened, and the faces and the people and the minds and the talent that has come through these buildings when it's come to entertainment and every other aspect, including sports, because you know how sports has pulled together a nation and how the SABC has been there every step of the way for sports. And V, I mean, when you look back over the time, you coming in here as a very young journalist, always, actually, it wasn't even in sports journalism. You started here even when you were like a child star, let's not kid. And then, of course, evolved into the sports goddess you are. But it's amazing, the history here, isn't it?
Thank you so much, Leanne. A very interesting journey travel through the SABC. A lot of South Africans will say I'm one of the people that raised them, the youngsters, of course, starting off in Yo TV. But we speak about sport and the milestones that we've seen over the years. We remember the 1995 triumph of the Springboks against one of our biggest rugby rivalries against New Zealand. You look at AFCON 1996, lifting the trophy in South Africa, did Bafana Bafana. The Comrades Marathon over the years, and radio and television. The SABC has truly been there for all the biggest sporting moments in our country.
Yeah, and that's, of course, I know what we're asking this morning. It's
and
just...
Philip,
Oh,
He was here. He
Only
was
for
here. He
Philip.
was here.
Sure. I mean, I'll take a couple of the viewers with us as we do this, because when Philip was around, we used to have, you may remember, we had flags. Every flag was just around the entrance of the SABC, and anytime anybody would come in here, you would just feel that hiss, you know, you'd feel him, and it was just beautiful. I mean, that's just one memory of a sporting event where this building took it over. It took over as feeling that. But, you know, there's so many more memories, and we'll continue to bring them to you as the broadcast goes all the way until 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, and of course we want to hear your memories as well. Do share those with us. You know, whether you want to send us a message via X, and pictures. We love pictures of moments, you know, that were important in your life as the SABC evolved over 90 years.
I've been reading a couple of people's memories already on social media as they've been getting hold of us, and they've just listed all the names of the programs that they used to watch and remember so fondly. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today.